Here are the starting lineups for the Timberwolves. Doug West, Terry Porter, Sam Mitchell, Tom Gugliotta, and Christian Laettner. And for the Grizzlies, Edwards, Anthony, King, Gaddison, and Benjamin. Compare those two starting lineups.
Well, what's big for Vancouver is you have Benoit Benjamin coming off a huge game in Portland. 29 points, 13 rebounds, 3 block shots. Vancouver has an advantage down low. They can use their power game to gain an edge. And the Minnesota Timberwolves have athleticism and a very deep team right now.
The referees, the officials, are once again replacement referees. The lockout is still in effect. Michael Price and Surin Arzumanian, the officials tonight. Two-man crew working GM place. Well, the Vancouver Grizzlies already had their opening tip-off to the season Friday in Portland, but this one really is the emotional one, the history-making one. Their first tip-off, first night in their own building.
It's always special, as we saw in Toronto at the Sky Dome, Rod, when you can win that first one at home. It's great for the fans, it's great for the team, and you know they really want to get this one under their belts.
The Minnesota Timberwolves 0-1. The Vancouver Grizzlies 1-0. Grizzlies get the opening tip, but it comes back to the Wolves. Number 30, veteran guard Terry Porter works against Greg Anthony. Lob inside to Laettner.
And we get our first illegal defense call. Chris King trying to help out on Chris Laettner. You can't get caught in the middle whenever you see an illegal defense call. You have to be careful.
Porter to West. Laettner with the shot. It's off, and Kenny Gaddison rebounds, and Greg Anthony controls. Number 2 for the Grizzlies. He's the point guard. Chris King back to Anthony. Benoit Benjamin in the matchup with Christian Laettner in the post. Blue Edwards outside. Here's Gaddison. Shot clock's at 7. King into the paint. Blocked there by Sam Mitchell. Benjamin. The first basket in GM place, scored by Benoit Benjamin.
Rod, Benoit Benjamin's really playing well. Here's a guy that came in the best shape of his life to make a big impact on the Grizzlies.
Doug West shot is off. Here's Gugliotta. Sam Mitchell off. Doug West underneath, strong to the basket. And it will go the Grizzlies' way.
Vancouver has to be careful. Here we're going to get another look at Benoit Benjamin calmly turning around and knocking in a jumper to beat the shot clock. But Vancouver has to be careful on the rebounding side. One of the things that hurt them early on in the preseason is they were struggling on the glass. They have to make up for it, as they have been in their last 3 games, and really go after the basketball, not give Minnesota second shot opportunities. No second shot opportunity on that. Blue Edwards hitting from the 2-guard spot, or the big guard spot on the court.
Porter looks for West. Foul on Blue Edwards.
Blue Edwards getting called for reaching in. And it's been a good move for the Vancouver Grizzlies. Here we see Blue Edwards again knocking in that jump shot. It's been a great addition having Chris King at the small forward spot, just joining the team at the end of the preseason. That enabled Blue Edwards to move to the big guard spot and allow Byron Scott to come off the bench.
Mitchell falling away gets the first Timberwolves basket. It's 4-2 Grizzlies.
Sam Mitchell coming over from the Indiana Pacers, started his career with Minnesota, went to Indiana, and now is back with the Timberwolves.
Blue Edwards into Gaddison, watched by Gugliotta. Gaddison's got it.
Tough move, Kenny Gaddison right in the face of Gugliotta.
Mitchell fakes. And a foul called on number 17, Chris King.
Again, we see the officials calling it tight right off the bat. You have to keep your hands off the offensive player. You can use your forearms, but not your hands. And here we get a look at Kenny Gaddison. I really like Kenny's game. I think he's been a big plus for the Vancouver Grizzlies to be able to pick him up in the expansion draft from the Charlotte Hornets.
Two-time Portland Trailblazer. Terry Porter off to Mitchell. Watched by King. Gugliotta watched by Gaddison. Finds Leitner underneath. Blocked there by Gaddison. And the Grizzlies have the ball, but the official rules. The ball was out, so the Timberwolves will inbounds from the baseline.
A good job defensively. The Grizzlies challenging their shots, changing Christian Leitner's shot.
Doug West on the jumper. Gugliotta, big rebound in the dunk.
That was a tough rebound in traffic. Tom Gugliotta, and that's what he brings to the T-Wolves. Here's a guy that has a complete game. Offensively, he can shoot the ball, he rebounds, he passes the ball.
Benjamin swatted away by Leitner. Gugliotta with Leitner and Doug West. And the foul, Greg Anthony.
Greg Anthony doing a good job getting back and trying to challenge Doug West as he went up for the dunk. But how about that pass from Gugliotta to set up Doug West going in for the dunk? Gugliotta, again, that's what he does so well for this team, plays the complete game. He's very unselfish, looks to find the open man, will pass up shooting opportunities to get his teammates good shots.
Doug West, the only player who has been with the T-Wolves since their inaugural season.
He's a great athlete, excellent defensive player. Doug West can really get in your face and bother you. He did a pretty good job against Mitch Richmond the other night in Sacramento. When he gets up on you, he can really make you work for everything you have on the court.
6-6. Just over 3 minutes gone in the opening quarter in Vancouver's GM Place, the home opener for the Grizzlies. Anthony trying to fight off Porter. Shot from Blue Edwards off the front of the rim. Leitner clears to Porter, who will slow it down, wait for his teammates, and then drives for Gugliotta. Bounce pass to Mitchell, and it drops.
A nice look. Tom Gugliotta with the bounce pass to Sam Mitchell, cutting to the hoop. Excellent heads-up ball play by Gugliotta.
Here is the preseason. The Minnesota Timberwolves had the best record during the exhibition schedule, even better than the defending NBA champion Houston Rockets. How much stock should we place in the preseason, though, Leo Robbins?
Well, as we know, Rod, not a heck of a lot. Minnesota excited about the way they play, but they realize there's a big difference in preseason and the regular season. A lot of teams experimenting, injuries, and so forth. They have to come back and just be ready to play night in and night out. Forget about the preseason.
Shot clock at 8. Gaddison back out for Blue Edwards. He's going to have to launch one. Gaddison from the key. 9-6 T-Wolves. Leitner watched by Benjamin. Back out for West, who swings it over to Mitchell. Looks inside for Gugliotta. And Terry Porter is there. Gugliotta watched by Kenny Gaddison. Bounces to Porter. Shot clock at 6. Great move.
Oh, the look away. Porter looks left and keeps the ball and doesn't drop it off to Gugliotta with a nice finger roll going to the bucket. Now, we have a pretty good matchup at this end of the court right now. Vancouver should try to take advantage of Benoit Benjamin, get him the ball down low. Blue Edwards knocking in another jumper, but they're settling for perimeter shots. You want to try to get the ball inside, establish your inside game. Remember, Benoit Benjamin is coming off a 29-point performance. Get him the ball.
Gugliotta from the baseline. It's off. Grizzlies will try to cut into a 3-point lead. Blue Edwards looked for the shot through the legs of Anthony, and Benoit Benjamin was there. Here's Edwards, wide open shot, drives off the glass and in.
That's Blue Edwards' game. When he can knock in the outside shot, that's bonus. Blue Edwards loves to go to the basket. He plays a power game, even though he's a 2-guard in their offense right now.
1 point, Minnesota lead, 11-10. Timeout on the floor. Grizzlies down by 1. Their opening night at GM Place.
The revolution will be led by Jason Kidd, Jimmy Jackson, Eddie Jones, Joe Smith, and Kevin Garnett. But it will not be followed by post-game, up-close, and personal interviews, because the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised, and the revolution will not fail. For as it fulfills the unfulfilled promise of Hank Gathers and Ben ball, and basketball is the truth.
The NBA on CTV, sponsored by Canadian Tire, where there's a lot more to Canadian Tire for a lot less. Labatt, good things brewing. And the good people at Nike Canada, who encourage you to just do it.
Brian Winters, longtime assistant, one of the greats from Milwaukee Bucks past, was once traded for Lou Alcindor, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in his playing career, and now a new journey for him as head coach of the Vancouver Grizzlies. We chatted with him today. He has a lot of confidence in this young team.
He really does. He's really respected the way his team has worked hard. They brought it together, giving him all the credit in the world for their win in Portland, just by the fact that they've stayed with it and did exactly what they were told to do.
Chris King's three-point attempt off the front of the rim. Terry Porter.
Terry Porter, a veteran player coming from the Portland Trail Blazers. Terry gives this Timberwolves team a lot of stability. He can really play the point guard spot, control the ball, bring leadership on the court. And that time, Terry Porter picking up a foul, trying to contain Greg Anthony.
The NBA expansion records, the Minnesota Timberwolves have been the worst of the lot. 6 losing seasons. They are the only expansion team not to have made the playoffs.
Well, they have struggled 4 consecutive seasons with 60 or more losses. And this is something they're really trying to turn around and really get back on a winning track as Gugliotta picks up the foul.
13-10 T-Wolves. Blue Edwards. Chris King underneath battling, and here is Porter again.
What we're seeing right now, Rod, the Grizzlies again are settling for perimeter shots. They got to try to get their big men involved in the game.
Leitner is off.
Minnesota struggling from the perimeter.
Anthony.
Greg Anthony is really coming into his own with the Grizzlies. He led the NBA preseason in assists with over 7 a game. Has showed a lot of leadership and on-court savvy for the Grizzlies. Coming from the New York Knicks, where there was a lot of pressure. It didn't seem that anything Greg Anthony could do was good enough, but he's really done well for the Grizzlies.
Sam Mitchell, nothing but net there. 7 points for Mitchell, leading point getter on the floor right now.
And we get an illegal defense call.
The first time illegal defense is called as a violation, the ball is inbounded. The next time, Leo, you pay for it, it's a technical foul.
Right, and Tom Gugliotta dropped off his man. You can't leave your man. You can't give him too much space. And if your man's in a certain area of the court, you have to stay with him. You can't cross areas of the court. Basically, you want to cover a man and not an area.
Bounce pass into Benoit Benjamin, who collided with Doug West, who took the foul.
Well, that's what they have to do right now. The Grizzlies have to get Benoit Benjamin into this ball game. You don't want him to disappear and get lost. When Benoit Benjamin is feeling good offensively and he gets in the flow, he's going to block shots, he's going to rebound, and you're going to get a lot more out of the big fella if you get him involved early. Good look by Greg Anthony, the one-handed bounce pass, and Doug West really didn't have a choice as Benoit Benjamin leaned into him and went up strong. As we see, 10 points, 8 boards a game in the preseason.
2-point Minnesota lead, 15-13, under 5 minutes left, opening quarter. Christian Leitner lost the ball. Grizzlies with a chance to tie or move ahead here.
One of the things Minnesota's not doing either is taking advantage of Christian Leitner. He has to come out, bring Benoit Benjamin away from the basket and use his jump shot. Leitner has a tendency to play with the ball and not take advantage of his quickness or his shooting ability.
Benjamin with the hook shot.
He's been hitting that with a lot of consistency. That jump hook for a guy that size is very difficult to stop. Benoit Benjamin has been shooting that ball very well.
Mitchell back out to Porter, looks for Gugliotta. Gaddison on him in the low post, and it comes out to Leitner with the shot, and he's off again. Christian Laettner can't find the range. Gaddison. Rebounded by Benjamin, and a foul underneath on Christian Laettner, who is unhappy with replacement official Michael Price.
But we saw just how strong Benoit Benjamin is. He cleared out Christian Laettner. Here we're going to get a look at that jump hook on the last possession we saw Benoit Benjamin put up.
And our first look at Derek Martin, who just was acquired by the Vancouver Grizzlies and is a former Minnesota Timberwolf.
Well, Brian Winters was great this morning. We were talking to him. He said, hey, he's really helped us out with their plays, so we got a little bit of advantage going into tonight's game. But he's a point guard that really can handle the ball well, penetrates, and is good in the open floor.
To Gaddison underneath, and count it. He'll go to the line.
That's making a difference off the bench. Derek Martin getting involved in the play right off the bat. What a great pass to Kenny Gaddison, who uses his strength. Kenny Gaddison is one of the stronger guys on this team. We'll see this look-away pass, and Gaddison going up. Watch the way he pauses, reacts to the foul, and still has the concentration to finish it off. Mark Davis into the game for Minnesota. Their 48th pick in the draft, and they've been very, very impressed with him. I talked to General Manager Flip Saunders, and he's been very, very impressed. Mark Davis, a lot of athleticism, and really brings a spark to the team off the bench.
Sam Mitchell tried the glass. He was wide open there. 2-point Grizzly lead. Martin intercepted there by the Grizzlies. Gugliotta for a big guy running the floor. Bounces into Williams.
Michael Williams bouncing off the defense. There was doubt if Michael Williams was even going to play tonight, coming off a sprained ankle. He makes a big difference for the T-Wolves coming in. They're very concerned about the point guard position, the one guard spot. Terry Porter cannot play very heavy minutes. They have to have Michael Williams in the game and healthy.
Converting the three-point play. Former Detroit Piston Michael Williams, who will watch Derek Martin. 18-17. Timberwolves. Blue throws it to the Timberwolf bench. And a timeout on the floor. Under 3 minutes left, opening quarter. Minnesota by 1 in Vancouver.
Canadian Tire has guaranteed low prices every day on MotoMaster batteries, so you can get one whenever you need one, and you won't get left out in the cold.
18-17 Minnesota opening quarter. Vancouver Grizzlies with expansion expectations. We talked to veteran Byron Scott about their hopes this season.
Well, I think we're going to do a lot better than anybody expects. Probably, everybody except us. We really expect that we, really think that we can do a lot better than people give us credit for. We got a lot of guys that's been in this league a long time, been very successful. And just coming together as a team is the only thing that we were worried about. How long it was going to take us to form that type of cohesiveness to really start to put it together on the basketball court. It's come a little bit quicker than people expected, and I think we're going to surprise a lot of people. I said all along, this team should be in the hunt. When it comes down to 15, 20, 10 games left in the season, that we should still have an opportunity to make the playoffs, and I still believe it.
Blue Edwards with his 8th point of the game. Sean Rooks with the sky hook.
And we get a goaltending call. Basket's going to count. Here also get a replay. Blue Edwards putting the ball on the floor, one dribble to the baseline and pulling up. And he's really shooting the ball well from the perimeter.
Are those overabundant expectations from Byron Scott?
Well, it just tells you how much confidence the Grizzlies have right now. The veterans really believe that they can put it together. And if Benoit Benjamin can continue to play like he's playing, you never know what this team can do. With Byron Scott really going out on the limb, anticipating a potential playoff entry.
Well, Byron Scott has never missed the playoffs. in 11 seasons in the NBA, so he's used to that. Gugliotta doesn't go, and it goes the other way. Offensive foul on number 24 of the Wolves.
But that was a great job by Kenny Gaddison. Gugliotta has a quickness advantage over Gaddison. Here we see Gugliotta fakes baseline, and Kenny jumps over to the baseline and manages to get his feet there to draw the foul. Excellent, excellent defensive reaction by the big man, Kenny Gaddison.
22-21 Minnesota. Chance for the Grizzlies to once again take the lead. Martin dribbling into the paint, inside to Benjamin, but knocked away by Minnesota. But the Grizzlies will maintain possession.
Rod, we get our first look at the high schooler, Kevin Garnett, in the ballgame now for the T-Wolves, and they've been thrilled, absolutely thrilled with his performance to date, living up to every possible projection they may have had for him.
Marquise Bragg loses the ball, then gets it right back. Davis underneath the wrestling for it. Edwards looked like he kicked it, got it back. There's Derek Martin. Chris King spins into the paint. Benjamin tips it in.
Outstanding second effort. Benoit Benjamin going up after the rebound and then following up his own miss with the tip. Oh, Michael Williams coming right back, taking it to the hole. Now, if you look at the T-Wolves lineup right here, but they have a younger group on the court with a lot of quickness and a lot of energy.
Final 40 seconds. King fouled by Bragg.
Speaking of energy, Chris King has done just that for the Grizzlies. He's energized this team. We saw him play for the first time against Toronto in Winnipeg in the Hall of Fame.
You liked him?
Oh, I loved him. He came in right at the end of preseason, came into that game 3 minutes to go in the game, and had an immediate impact on the game. Looked to really push it. He's great in the open court. Likes to take the ball to the basket, and defensively tries to get his hands on the ball at all times. And again, we get a look at that penetration going to the hole, and Benoit following up Chris King's miss with the tip and his own miss.
More substitutions in the game. Antonio Harvey, and now and so is veteran Byron Scott, a holder of 3 NBA championship rings with the Lakers.
And also, Byron Scott has benefited from Chris King being with this ball club. Chris King is playing the small forward or the 3 spot. And
speaking of 3 spots,
Davis, that's a 3 spot right there. You're right about that. But with Chris King at the 3 spot, what that's enabled to do, Grizzlies to do, is to put Blue Edwards at the big guard spot or the 2 spot and bring Byron Scott off the bench. And now you have some scoring coming off the bench and a good shooter to do that.
6 seconds left in the quarter. Byron Scott with a 3-pointer. 4 seconds left in the opening quarter. That will be short. What a first quarter for both teams. The Minnesota Timberwolves 27, Vancouver Grizzlies 26. Byron Scott off the bench from 3-point land. We'll be back with more. Second quarter upcoming. The NBA on CTV.
The NBA on CTV. Advantage Sports Update.
Welcome back to Vancouver's GM Place. Loud in here tonight. The Grizzlies down by 1 after the opening quarter. Let's take a look at other action today. Not good news for Vancouver sports fans. The BC Lions out of the playoffs in the Northern semifinal. The Edmonton Eskimos move on to the Final Four in the CFL. The San Antonio Texans laid a kicking on the Birmingham Barracudas 52-9. NHL scores now. Tampa Bay Lightning losing to the Florida Panthers in the Battle of the Sunshine State 4-1. Other scores, the Jets and the Buffalo Sabres are tied at 3. That's in the third period. Hartford Whalers losing to the Philadelphia Flyers 6-1. New Jersey Devils trailing the Anaheim Mighty Ducks 3-1 in the second period. And the Colorado Avalanche leading the Chicago Blackhawks 2-1 in the United Center tonight.
Bill Blair offering instruction to the T-Wolves, trying to get his team to control the basketball, get some good shots, get some more movement offensively. He has a very young team on the court right now, led by the high schooler Kevin Garnett from Farragut High School in Chicago.
The youngest player in the NBA, 19 years, 5 months, and Martin baseline, got it!
Derek Martin going to the basket. They're really thrilled with having Martin in the lineup to help back up Greg Anthony. And I was talking again with Flip Saunders, the general manager of the T-Wolves, and he did not like the idea of parting with Derek Martin. He liked him. He thought he was a solid backup. He says he's a starter in this league. So definitely an addition, a positive addition for the Grizzlies.
2-point Grizzly lead. Second quarter underway at GM Place. Steal there by Scott. Martin spins the dribble into the paint. Antonio Harvey from the baseline. It's off. And there is the rookie, the high schooler, Kevin Garnett. Selected 5th overall in the NBA draft. One selection before Bryant Big Country Reeves. And I'm sure we'll see Big Country tonight.
Derek Martin picking up a foul using his body against Michael Williams. Speaking of Big Country, he's been really working hard to try to get in shape, trying to lose some weight, get in better shape so he can have more minutes and make more of a contribution for the Grizzlies.
Michael Williams looks inside, batted away by Harvey. Martin to Byron Scott, fakes the shot and will bring it back up, and Derek Martin will set up the offense. Scott. Williams, open shot, doesn't go. Out of bounds, and it will be Minnesota ball.
Right now, Minnesota coming down, just settling for any shot they can get. They have to move the ball around, and here we see Kevin Garnett at 19, the youngest player in the NBA. And another young rookie in the NBA, Bryant Big Country Reeves in the ballgame now.
22-year-old Bryant Reeves from Gans, Oklahoma. Last year with Oklahoma State, went to the NCAA Final Four. Wide open on the weak side was Marquise Bragg, and he drew a foul.
Bragg going to the basket strong over Antonio Harvey. Harvey arguing his case. Hey, I went straight up. He moved into me. Brian Winters also pleading his case. Bragg, they've been, again, the T-Wolves have been very impressed with Bragg's performance. He's an undersized power forward or four-man, but he does a real good job of getting, and he's got a nose for the ball. He gets around the basket, picks up a lot of garbage hoops.
Matchup in the post will be Bryant Reeves and Sean Rooks. Chris King looking for Big Country. And we saw a lot of that in the preseason, unable to handle the ball.
Well, Chris King, that pass was a little bit out of place for Big Country. And Big Country, you have to remember, he's trying to hold off Sean Rooks, who's a big, strong guy with some experience. And he's learning to get his position at the same time. So you have to be careful where you place the ball when you throw it into him. Now, Big Country is out here on the court at 4 o'clock. Game started at 6 o'clock West Coast time, and Big Country was out here a couple hours before the game working on his shot.
Sean Rooks is getting a 3 for a quarter underneath. And he still didn't get the basket. Derek Martin smothered by Kevin Garnett.
And the official right on top of the play. Kevin Garnett diving for the ball. They've been very impressed with his poise. The T-Wolves have. They've been more than impressed with the fact that, as we get a look, Sean Rooks not able to get the ball to drop, and the loose ball, we see Kevin Garnett just diving on top, but he's shown a lot of poise, hasn't shown any frustration when he's gotten bumped and banged in practice, just keeps working hard, and you tell him to do something once and he'll try to do it.
Behind the back, Scott.
And we have a 3-second call.
Big Country Called on the violation. 3 seconds in the key. Wolves 30. Grizzlies 29. 9.5 minutes left in the opening half in Vancouver. Michael Williams off. And there is a strong rebound by Greg Anthony. Harvey blocked by Williams, but the Grizzlies will hang on to it.
Good plays at both ends of the court. Greg Anthony snagging the rebound under the air and then throwing it up to Antonio Harvey, and Michael Williams saving a potential dunk by knocking the ball away.
Terry Porter back in the game.
Now Christian Laettner in the game matched up with Brian Big Country as we see Michael Williams tapping the ball away.
Call away from the ball.
Mark Davis picking up the foul on Byron Scott. There's been a lot of question with the replacement officials doing the games now. The NBA is hoping they only have 2 officials on the court. Their NBA is hoping that by January, possibly February, they'll have a third replacement official. Greg Anthony powering, mixing it up at the defensive end on the glass and on the offensive end going in among the big trees.
Grizzlies by 1. Garnett looking for the shot. Watched by King. To Porter. To West. Porter for 3. Byron Scott, 4-on-2. Grizzlies. Scott through the middle.
And that's why you want Byron Scott coming in off the bench. He can give you that spark, a little hesitation at the foul line, and then down the middle.
3-point Grizzly lead. Porter off to West at the elbow. Got it.
Mark West, quick release, curling off the screen.
Anthony wants a screen, and the 3-point attempt is off. Antonio Harvey and Chris King there for the rebound.
Good job by Chris King getting the rebound, getting the ball out. Quick shot by Greg Anthony. Vancouver has to be careful not to get into a crazy up and down tempo of a game. They want to work the ball around.
Byron Scott
with the fadeaway.
And then he fell into the front row, and he makes it back on defense.
That was a big-time fadeaway by Byron Scott.
Garnett. Scott to Anthony. 3 points. The Grizzlies on top of the T-Wolves. Anthony swings it out to Scott, to King. Bryant Reeves, the shot doesn't go.
You could tell the crowd's pulling for him here in GM Place. Big Country making that move. You could sense the crowd wanting to see Big Country get a shot in, get some confidence up. Good matchup against Christian Laettner.
Underneath Laettner. Reeves called on the foul.
Here by Byron Scott, a little hesitation when he had the ball at the foul line and taking it all the way with the finger roll down the middle. And then this fadeaway. Watch that little hop. Rod fades away and gets that ball high, archer. Nothing but net.
He faded away right into the front row. Was able to get back into the play.
But one of the things Brian Winters likes about having Byron Scott come off the bench, not only is he a spark and a scorer off the bench, but hey, it gives him some time, saves his legs. It's a little easier as far as wear and tear goes throughout the season if you can have Byron Scott coming off the bench and getting a little bit more rest.
Laettner shooting 2. Second goes as well.
Christian Laettner, a big quickness advantage over Big Country. And a lot of experience.
Vancouver by 1. Under 7 minutes left in the first half. Here's Reeves with Laettner, who batted it away. The Grizzlies will hold on to the ball and will try to hold on to the lead. First night at GM Place.
the NBA on CTV, sponsored by Molson's Special Dry.
Well, we got little countries or provinces or states, whatever you will. We got 2 brothers, we got an uncle, we got a cousin, we got grandma, we got the wife, and we got mom and dad. Carl Reeves, welcome to Vancouver, your first trip.
Thank you very much. It's been a very pleasant place to be.
This has been a year of thrills for you. Brian at the NC2As in Seattle, getting drafted. How does this one rank, seeing him play for real?
Oh, this is what he's dreamed up for years. This is the big one. This is what really means something, because he's always dreamed of being able to do this.
Mom, how many times was he late for dinner over the years, working out to get this far?
Several, but it's exciting. We enjoy it.
What's your biggest thrill? This versus the NC2As, for example, are getting drafted?
Yeah, it does. It's all been real exciting. This and the draft is real exciting, too.
Welcome to Canada, Brian.
Thank you.
Big country still on the floor. 4-point Grizzly lead. Gugliotta doesn't go underneath. He got the ball back. And the Timberwolves will hang on to it.
Great cut by Gugliotta. Finding himself free under the basket, just rushed the shot and wasn't able to knock it in.
What was it like when your friends and family were at your first game when you played in Philadelphia?
Nobody showed, Rod. They said you're on your own, kid.
Christian Laettner.
That's what the T-Wolves want Christian Laettner to catch the ball and shoot it right away. He has a tendency to hold on to it, to play with it a little bit. He has to get it and shoot it. That way, the defenses will have to be very honest with him. And we see Big Country again. When he tries to get his post-up move, he's starting out pretty far away from the basket. He's allowing himself to get pushed out. And then when he gets the ball, he's hesitating. He's not quite sure of what he wants to do. As a result, the defense keeps getting a piece of the ball.
Some people have called him a project.
Well, it definitely is a project. There's a lot of work he has to do, but there's also a lot of potential.
The pump by Anthony doesn't go. 2-point Grizzly lead. Mitchell. Here's Blue Edwards. Outlet to Anthony. Fakes. Scott.
Watching the Grizzlies out here, the fans are appreciating the effort. These guys are going after the ball, and look at them. They're having fun out here, Rod. These guys are enjoying themselves. They were very subdued in the preseason in the early games, trying to find themselves, trying to get to know each other. Now they're having fun out there. They're working hard, and the veterans are really taking charge and leading this ball club.
No better experience to have than someone like Byron Scott. He was in the NBA Finals 6 times, 3 times a champion.
And they did a lot of spotting up when you had Big Magic Johnson, one of the greatest passers ever to play the game, looking for Byron Scott, coming off screen, spotting up in the transition. And Byron Scott always delivered. You gave him the romp, he was going to knock it in.
9 points for Scott. 4-point Vancouver lead. Under 5.5 to play in the first half. Mitchell knocked away by Blue Edwards, and Mitchell's called on the foul, and he is not happy.
Excellent defensive play by Blue Edwards. He slapped the ball away,
and then
Mitchell, well, Mitchell, out of frustration, grabbed Blue Edwards' head trying to get the ball. So Blue Edwards wasn't too happy about that, and Bill Blair himself not too thrilled over the play. Here we get a replay and get a look at good hands right there. Now watch Mitchell with his left hand right on Blue Edwards' head, and the official right on the play. Ooh, not a pretty shot by Blue Edwards. If you watch, what you want to do as a shooter, 2 things. You want to bend your knees and get your legs into your shot, and the other part of it, you want to put your hand in the basket, have a real nice follow through, make a gooseneck with your wrist. And that time, again, you see what he does. Blue Edwards is pulling his arm back just as he releases the ball, and you don't want to pull the shot. You want to follow through.
Porter lobs into Laettner. Former standout at Duke. Great drive by Christian Laettner.
And that time, no hesitation whatsoever. Christian Laettner getting the ball. Big Country can't stay with him. He took it right to the hoop for a left-hand layup.
6 points for Christian Laettner. The only man to ever make it to The NCAA Final Four 4 years in a row.
Some great years with the Duke Blue Devils.
Gugliotta brings it back and a chance for the Timberwolves to pull even. Scott watching Terry Porter. Gugliotta. Double team there. Porter for three.
Oh, Terry Porter.
He's deadly from there.
Oh, yeah. He can, when he gets hot, watch out. And he doesn't take bad shots. Terry Porter takes shots within the framework of the offense. He waits for his scoring opportunities. That time, the ball getting kicked out to him, and no hesitation whatsoever.
He once went 7 for 7 from the three-point arc in a game, which is pretty miraculous.
Byron Scott doing a good job following his own miss. The shooter most often knows where that ball's going off the rim, and Byron Scott reacting to his own miss.
Edwards from the baseline. Gugliotta pulls down the rebound, and the T-Wolves with a 1-point lead. 3.5 minutes left. There's Leitner.
And Big Country reaching over the back of Christian Leitner. You have to, in the NBA, you can't just carelessly try to reach around. You're playing against some pretty good players and some big bodies. You either have to try to get around the offensive player or play behind him, but you can't just fool around and just reach and try to go for the ball. The players are too good for that.
Porter shakes off the double team. Gugliotta wide open. Doesn't make it. And a fresh 24 seconds on the clock as Porter brings it out to Leitner. Leitner spots up and takes the three-point attempt, but it doesn't go. It was way off. And Benoit Benjamin back in the game.
And he hesitated. Here we get a call. Gugliotta ran into Anthony. Not too happy about that call. It was kind of incidental contact, but Anthony did get knocked down to the floor. But we had a look at Christian Leitner with a wide open jump shot. The reason that shot didn't go in, Rod, he just took his time. He didn't sit there and shoot that shot like he wanted to shoot it. He waited, and then said, okay, I'll take it. It's a secondary thought at that point, and that's not the kind of shot you want to take.
Well, we're going to wait just a couple of minutes because we have a timeout on the floor. 41-40 Minnesota, 3:09 left in the opening half.
You're watching the NBA on CTV.
Canadian Tire has guaranteed low prices every day on MotoMaster batteries, so you can get one whenever you need one, and you won't get left out in the cold.
Two former national team coaches, Ken Shields on my far right, Jack Donahue, who came here in 1972 from the Big Apple. Jack, how does this feeling compare to when you took over a national program and took it to the prominence it got to?
There were more people in this gym than even knew we were playing basketball in 1972. But it's a progress, and it's great. It's the greatest thing that's happened to basketball in a long, long time.
Ken Shields, at what point do you think this will manifest itself to the kids in gyms all across our nation?
Well, I think it already has. The amount of exposure the game has gotten the last year has been absolutely fabulous, and I think you'll see Canadians in the NBA in the next 10 years.
Gentlemen, thanks very much. And the Billy Robinsons and the Howard Kelseys of the world can take part in the new generation in the 90s. Gentlemen, thank you.
Couple of Canadians in the game right now, and Bill Lennington and Rick Fox, who is with the Boston Celtics, as Christian Leitner.
Christian Leitner, no hesitation, coming right up, catching it and shooting it, and that's what he's most effective.
The next great Canadian, though, may be Steve Nash.
That's right, from Victoria, right here in British Columbia. Steve Nash has a lot of pro scouts drooling already, thinking about the prospects of him coming out here in his senior year, playing for Santa Clara, as we have a 3-second call against the Grizzlies. But Steve Nash is a real explosive player, Rod. Coaches really like the way he plays. He's smart, he's intelligent, and plays with a lot of intensity, and that's what has impressed me the most about him.
We'll be watching him. We saw him at the World Championships on CTV last summer as Leitner takes the ball from Porter and tries to work on Benjamin. Shot clock at 10. Benjamin gets his hand on the ball. Leitner, shot clock at 6. Porter for 3. Doug West comes down with the ball.
Doug West doing a good job. Nobody bothered to pick him up or check him. Getting the offensive rebound.
Cross court, Mitchell bullies his way into the paint. The foul called on Mr. Gaddison.
We saw Kenny Gaddison take a charge earlier in the game against Sam Mitchell. That time not able to get his feet in place. Got called with the foul on the body, his second foul.
43-42 Minnesota. 2:06 left in the first half.
Sam Mitchell has a distinct quickness advantage in a matchup against Kenny Gaddison.
Heartbroken today, though. Sam Mitchell is the biggest Evander Holyfield fan around. Apparently knows Holyfield well, and last night was unhappy when Riddick Bowe TKO'd Evander.
Well, we ran into some of the T-Wolves watching the fight, and they were as excited as I've ever seen anybody. They were arguing, saying, I told you Bowe would win, or I told you Holyfield would do this. They were having a great time.
2-point, Wolf lead. West. Lou Edwards with the foul.
Doug West coming right at Blue Edwards, drawing his second personal on Blue Edwards. Blue didn't have much of a choice. He tried to slap at the ball and ended up grabbing, and now Benoit Benjamin picking up a technical foul. Now this is where Benoit Benjamin has to be careful. He doesn't want to get sidetracked. We have replacement officials in the game, and there are going to be some calls that obviously aren't going to be received too well, but you have to play with it and react to it. You can't change it. You just have to play with what you have.
Benoit Benjamin spent the last 2 seasons with the New Jersey Nets. He was drafted in 1985 by the LA Clippers. 3rd overall, traded to Seattle and then to the Lakers before ending up with the Nets and then selected by Vancouver in the expansion draft.
A lot of criticism over the years on Benoit Benjamin, saying he's never reached his potential, doesn't play hard, but really impressed Stu Jackson, Brian Winters, and all the coaching staff here in Vancouver by coming in great shape, had a personal trainer who's worked with him, and this is the best I've seen Benoit look physically in his entire career.
Chris King strong to the net. Timberwolves will control with a 5-point lead and 1.5 minutes left in the opening half. Greg Anthony watching Terry Porter. Minnesota on a 6-0 run. Mitchell to Gugliotta to Porter. 7 on the shot clock. West looks for the shot. Gugliotta from the baseline. High arcing shot, and it goes. And it's 49-42.
Gugliotta can make that shot. He's an excellent perimeter shooter. Has a good finesse game to go with his power game.
Anthony off the back of the rim.
Quick shot for Greg Anthony.
Under a minute left. Porter, nice feet to Gugliotta with a big jam.
Oh, that was a big-time pass by Terry Porter, penetrating, going into the middle, and Gugliotta finishing it with a little authority.
Biggest lead of the ball game for the Timberwolves. 9 points with 40 seconds left. Edwards to Anthony. 9 on the shot clock. Again, he's off. Grizzlies try to control. 27 seconds left. Wolves on a run. 13 on the shot. A differential of 6 seconds on the shot and the game clock. Porter to West for 3. Leitner with a strong rebound, and it drops. 4.6 seconds left. 53-42. Last shot by Anthony going inside. Doesn't go. Vancouver Grizzlies were close up until about 4 minutes ago. And the Minnesota Timberwolves on a big run at the end of the half. 12-0 for the Wolves, Leo.
And these are the type of plays, Terry Porter to Gugliotta, that enabled the T-Wolves to go on a run.
53-42 Minnesota at halftime. The NBA on CTV.
There's a moment in time when the best begin to shine. One for all, take your best shot. Make the moment count. Keep your head held high. Reach the sky.
Back at the home of the Vancouver Grizzlies, also the home of the Vancouver Canucks. Beautiful GM place, a $165 million building that really is a gem, Leo.
Rod, this is by far one of the best arenas I've seen and been able to be a part of. America West Arena and the new Rose Garden in Portland and GM Place, absolutely one of the finest.
Second half underway, 53-42 Timberwolves. Starting fives on the floor. Benoit Benjamin tried to corral that pass from Anthony, and
not a good pass by Anthony. Benoit Benjamin didn't have his feet set. He was reaching for the ball. You have to be careful. And they were too close together. You need more spacing when you want to get the ball into your big guy. You can't stand that close to him and expect to drop the ball in. The defense is all around.
There's West, lob into Leitner. And Christian Leitner, they may have woken up that sleeping giant because he started off very slowly in that first half.
He did. He was hesitating, Rod. Now he's shooting it quickly that time. Nice little fake. Get the shot up over the big man.
Kenny Gaddison.
Kenny Gaddison. He has those big hands. He takes that ball, holds it up in the air, and dropping it in. Now, one of the things Vancouver has to do is get Kenny Gaddison and Benoit Benjamin into this ball game. They have to give him more attempts. Benoit Benjamin 4 of 5 in the first half, but only 5 shots made 4. You have to give him the ball more.
Edwards shovels it to the hoop. Gaddison is underneath again.
Well, that's one way to get it. Go after it on the offensive glass, and Kenny Gaddison following Blue Edwards' miss and getting his own miss and powering up. Kenny Gaddison brings a lot of experience and maturity to the Grizzlies, coming off a very serious injury last year at Charlotte that almost ended his career.
Leitner worked the screen, then got it back and hit the soft jumper in the paint.
He's in the flow right now. Little fade to the middle.
14 for Christian Leitner. 57 for Minnesota. 46 for Vancouver. Gaddison loses the ball, and it ends up in the front row.
Good hands by Gugliotta. He caught the ball on the way up. You know, when you talk about blocking shots, there's different levels of shots. Most people think of it just as the spectacular blocks above the rim, but you can catch the ball on the way up when shooters are trying to bring it up with quick hands. Gugliotta did just that.
Sam Mitchell, steal by Chris King all alone. Look out for Terry Porter.
That's what Stu Jackson loves about Chris King. He's got great hands. He always gets a piece of the ball. Very active and solid in the open floor.
You mentioned Kenny Gaddison getting into the rhythm, getting into the game. Gaddison with the soft touch here.
Good position. He knew where the defense was and just rolled to the basket. And here, aggressively following not only Blue Edwards' miss, but his own miss, and then finishing it off with the dunk.
Chris King finishing off the three-point play with the free throw and a whistle away from the ball.
And Benoit Benjamin jostling for position down low with Christian Leitner and picking up the foul. When the offensive player has position under the basket, you're not allowed to dislodge him from that position. You can fight with him, try to beat him to the spot, not allow him to get that position, but you can't move him off the spot once he establishes it.
Gaddison had his spot established underneath, got the rebound. 57-49, Anthony lost it. Benjamin got it back with 15 on the shot clock. Sam Mitchell rebounds.
That's a play Benoit Benjamin should have just taken out and get set up again.
Porter for 3. Anthony drives. Gugliotta threw it to his teammates on the bench.
Both teams right now, Vancouver having a hard time finding the basket, and Minnesota a little careless with the pass. Have to settle down, get in the flow. Third quarter, just like the beginning of the game, you want to try to establish your rhythm as soon as you can.
Looks like a technical foul called by the substitute officials on Brian Winters, who has been jawing with a couple of those officials tonight.
Well, both Benoit Benjamin, Brian Winters, they've been talking quite a bit with the officials right now, and Chris King also walking over and trying to argue his case with the officials. But again, it's in a situation right now where you have replacement officials. There's going to be calls you're not going to like that are going to occur on the court. You just have to pretty much go with the flow and realize, hey, this is what we have to live with, fellas, and we have to make the best of it. You have to play the officials just like you would another player on the court. You have to play the officials, react to them, read them. If they're calling you tight, you have to back off.
58-49. Anthony fouled.
Good job of Greg Anthony coming off the screen, curling and going right to the hoop, using his body as his shield as he put it up, left hand high off the glass. Greg Anthony is, I think, playing very well for this Vancouver team, coming off a high pressure situation in New York where it didn't seem like anything he did was ever good enough. But he had some strong performances, a lot of playoff experience, and now he has a chance to really come into his own and be a leader for the Grizzlies.
Cuts the lead to 7. 8 points for Greg Anthony. Some pressure from the Grizzlies as Porter brings the ball up. Greg Anthony comes back and fouls Terry Porter.
Greg Anthony trying to harass Porter up the court, ended up bumping him with his chest. He just can't make contact on the ball handler, and that's his 3rd foul. Greg Anthony.
Gugliotta fouled by Kenny Gaddison.
And here we see it again, the crowd reacting negatively to that call, but they don't understand that what you cannot put your open hand on the offensive player. That's an immediate foul in the NBA, and it was basically from all the hand checking and the physical play of the Houston-New York final a few years back. And Terry Porter going up off the glass.
9-point lead again.
Terry Porter, a key find or acquisition for this Minnesota ball club.
Chris King watched by West and got it into Gaddison.
Kenny Gaddison, did you see that, Rod? King was looking at him, and Kenny Gaddison just said, hey, give me the ball. He wanted it. And Tom Gugliotta picked up the foul. Gugliotta is playing behind Kenny Gaddison and trying to push him out, not denying him the ball, and Kenny's doing a good job of walking him in to try to get down low.
Lou Edwards to Anthony. Edwards.
Nice pass.
Gugliotta again strong underneath. Anthony scrambles, feeds to Gaddison, off the glass and in.
Great hustle by Greg Anthony. He had Gugliotta, who's about twice the size, coming right at him, and he just went for it. As a result, the Grizzlies benefit by getting 2.
Steal there by King with the quick hands, but Gugliotta got it back. Mitchell. Leitner underneath, tries to get it, does. And a fresh 24 seconds on the shot clock. There's Doug West from the baseline. All Grizzlies underneath, and Kenny Gaddison again pulls it down. 7-point Timberwolf lead. King.
And that's what the Grizzlies need. Get Chris King into the flow of the game. He's been very quiet. And here's the guy that is nothing but energy for the Vancouver Ball Club. They have to get him going, and he has to really get in the open court and find himself some shots.
We have a timeout. And we have a 5-point Minnesota lead with 6:58 left in the 3rd quarter in Vancouver.
The NBA on CTV, sponsored by Labatt, Good Things Brewing, and Pontiac, built for drivers.
Welcome back to the NBA on CTV. John McKeechee come in.
Commissioner David Stern is with us tonight. Commissioner, I want to ask you, Toronto was always going to be a viable entity in the NBA when you went for expansion, but as a man of vision, how surprised were you when Jerry Colangelo told you that Vancouver was a possibility?
I had been here long before he was here. It's a great city, and we're really looking forward to it.
Are you going to be a hard line? You're going to go wire to wire with the referees?
Yes, but we're going to make them offers that we hope they don't refuse. If they can't take yes for an answer, we got a problem.
And tonight's loaded question. Compare this opening to others you've endured in your commissionership.
Knowledgeable fans, difficult, knowledgeable, youngest audience I've seen. It's very exciting for us.
And how much of a factor is that you're a skiing fanatic and a tennis player, and Whistler Mountain is in close proximity to getting this team a franchise?
Whistler, the restaurants, a little kayaking, some river rafting. We're going.
Enjoy the game, sir. Thanks.
Thanks for having me.
Commissioner David Stern was in Toronto Friday, Vancouver tonight on a whirlwind tour. New expansion teams. Leitner underneath, blocked by Benjamin, but fouled there too. 62-55, Minnesota.
And Leitner's feeling it right now. He's picking up the third foul on Benoit Benjamin, but Leitner's got a smile on his face, and he's ready to rock and roll out here. He's hitting his jump shot, 16 points, 8 rebounds so far. That time going into the middle, a little hesitation, and spinning to the baseline.
It was interesting talking to Christian Leitner this morning after their shoot-around and talking about being a part of a Minnesota Timberwolves team that has struggled when he was such a winner for such a long time.
But well, you know, it was interesting that what he said, Rod. He said it's not frustrating when you're losing, when you're not as skilled and undermanned like they have been the last 3 years. He thinks this year they have more depth and more skill, and if they do lose this year, then it will become very frustrating.
Anthony almost had it go, but the foul called underneath. Looks like Leitner.
Greg Anthony has really become aggressive, trying to take the ball to the basket. And that's the fourth foul on Leitner. As we see again, Greg Anthony penetrating, using his body to shield the ball from Leitner and drawing the foul.
Christian Leitner tried to wave off a substitution to head coach Bill Blair there, but they will bring someone in. 4 personals on Christian Leitner, who will now take a rest.
Come on, Chris, you're not Michael Jordan. You can't flag it off that easy.
Sean Rooks back in the game. He can play, though, Christian Leitner.
Oh, yeah, and he's looking for a big year. They said he looked very, very good in the preseason.
.5:45 left, third quarter. Sam Mitchell, watched by Chris King. Doug West. Ball swatted away by Blue Edwards. There's Gugliotta from the corner.
You have to come up on Gugliotta. Tough matchup. Kenny Gaddison.
The lead is 10 again.
Not as quick as Gugliotta, but you have to get up and try to get more pressure in the shot. Give him that shot, Gugliotta will make it.
Benjamin spins. Blocked there by Rooks. Gaddison's got the ball, and they will jump it. It looks like, no, he's calling a foul.
Calling a foul on Doug West. And Kenny Gaddison again hustling, going after the ball. Fourth foul on West.
So a little foul trouble now for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Well, you know, when you go after the basketball like the Grizzlies are doing on the glass, you're going to get fouls on people. Kenny Gaddison really going after it. Looks like that may be his 11th rebound in the game. Now Sean Rooks, backup center for the Timberwolves, is matched up against Benoit Benjamin. We saw he got a piece of Benoit's last shot. Rooks is a very strong player and can have a big impact on the game against most backup centers, but tonight he's playing against Benoit Benjamin, who's still in the game.
T-Wolves by 9. Ball knocked out of bounds. Mitchell lobs into Rooks, and Terry Porter sets it up again. Grizzlies come out to defend. Gugliotta watched by Gaddison with the forearm on his back. Good bounce pass inside. Taken away by Greg Anthony. The spin underneath by Chris King. It didn't go. And Minnesota will get the ball. Referee saying that King's foot was on the line.
King made a great spin move, but lost track of where he was. Ended up too far under the basket and he wasn't able to make the shot.
4.5 minutes left, third quarter. Porter out to Mitchell, wide open shot, all net.
Sam Mitchell, he will be very, very important to the Timberwolves. His experience and work ethic are exactly what this ball club needs to come back and bounce back from a poor season last year.
Benjamin fights off the check inside. King with the rebound. Gets it up, but doesn't go again. And the Grizzlies are silenced and come away empty.
Oh, that time King went up a little soft. He rushed the shot, possibly worried about getting his shot blocked. Just threw it up instead of going up strong. And that's King in the ballgame so far is only 2 for 8 from the field as he takes a seat.
Into the game, Byron Scott.
Now, it's not bad when King can sit and Byron Scott can come in. Instant firepower.
Wolves by 11. Gugliotta. Good spin on the other side of Gaddison, and Kenny Gaddison gets the foul again.
And we see Gugliotta taking advantage of his quickness, posting up Kenny Gaddison, and as soon as he caught the ball, he spun right away, and Gaddison had both hands on Gugliotta's back, and that's a no-no.
Another look.
Here right now, we saw on the spin, he actually had the one hand on the hip of Gugliotta. And you just can't do that. You will get the call when you put the hand on the back.
Technical foul called. Some jawing going on in the court, and the referee's not appreciating it. Antonio Harvey will come into the game, and it looks like Kenny Gaddison will take a seat with 4 personal fouls.
Kenny Gaddison not too thrilled over the call. From our angle, the first time we saw it, it looked like he had both hands on his back. That time, it didn't look quite as bad as our first perspective. But again, you have to play the officials.
Tom Gugliotta last season traded by Washington to Golden State in the Chris Webber deal, and then traded to Minnesota for Donyell Marshall. Played with a lot of last place ball clubs.
It was a crazy year for him last year, and he involved in some big trades, going from Washington to Golden State in the Chris Webber deal, and that was a lot of pressure on Gugliotta to come in and take Chris Webber's place.
Byron Scott trying to ignite his team with a 3-point attempt that goes awry, and here comes Porter again trying to build on a 13-point lead, biggest lead of the ball game for the Timberwolves. Davis blocked by Antonio Harvey. Anthony on the dribble. Dishes to Blue Edwards, blocked. Anthony again. Foul on Davis. Slapped it away, but got his hand.
Great block at the other end, Antonio Harvey. Very athletic, played for the Los Angeles Lakers last season. And Sam Mitchell at this end of the court, coming up with the block.
Former New York Knick. Former running rebel from UNLV, played with Jerry Tarkanian, played also under Pat Riley. He's been under some good coaches.
Oh, absolutely. He's played with some of the best in the game and responded to them. Again, it gives a lot of different looks to the Vancouver Grizzlies. Even though he's a fairly young player, he does have a lot of experience.
Grizzlies had scored just 2 points in the last 4 minutes, so make it a third, 70-59. Michael Williams to Sam Mitchell. Gugliotta working on Antonio Harvey, bounces out to Williams. Davis back to Williams again to Gugliotta. Shot clock at 4. Anthony looked for Byron Scott, but the lob was too far. Here's Gugliotta again. Running the floor, Leo.
The big fella getting up and down.
Brooks. Gugliotta soars in.
That was a big-time rebound by Gugliotta.
Big time for the Wolves. They have a big lead, 11 points at GM Place. The Grizzlies have to get it together.
I felt really stupid. I felt dumb.
You're watching the NBA on CTV.
70-59 Minnesota. A reminder that this program is authorized under rights granted by the National Basketball Association solely for the entertainment of our audience, and any publication, reproduction, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the National Basketball Association is prohibited. 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in the third quarter. Benoit Benjamin, 0-0. His coach likes him. Brian Winters, we were talking to him earlier this morning. He said Benoit Benjamin has come to play this year.
He really has. A weight trainer in the offseason, lost a lot of weight, really looking good. And the bottom line is right now he's an experienced veteran who's a better player than Big Country Reeves, and that's why he's in the game and getting the heavy minutes. And until Big Country can lose some weight and get in good shape, this is the way it's going to stay.
Benjamin, half hook shot. Gugliotta again, he has been a monster out here tonight. Bounce pass in to Rooks off the glass. Under 2 minutes now. 12 points. Minnesota on top of Vancouver. Blue Edwards off the pick. And again, off the mark. Williams to Gugliotta. Open shot, didn't take it. Edwards.
Right now, Vancouver's really not getting into a flow. And Benoit Benjamin looks tired out there. He's not running the court. Seems distracted, as the Grizzlies do. Another bad pass. Greg Anthony.
Put your coaching cap, your strategy cap on right now. What do the Grizzlies have to do to get back in this ball game down by 12?
Well, they have to get movement. They have to set some screens, run their sets. They're not executing right now. And they've also given up some second shot opportunities. Gugliotta has done a good job of crashing the glass. They have to take care of the defensive glass.
Shot is off. There's Benjamin. Almost threw it away.
Again, you don't have to take off and run right now. You're not in the flow. Get the ball and bring it up. And almost another turnover bouncing off the foot of Davis, but the Grizzlies get the ball back.
52.6 seconds left in the third quarter.
Derek Martin in the game, replacing Greg Anthony, hopefully to try to provide a spark as he did in the first half for Vancouver. Now, it's important to remember, Rod, Friday night when Vancouver won in Portland, they were down and they came back with a 19-3 run in the fourth quarter. So look for them to have to make another run tonight.
Maybe Derek Martin in the game will help them make that run.
Well, you see right away, as soon as Derek Martin came in the game, immediately he tried to penetrate and create something. And what'll happen is you go up, you go into the defense, you create opportunities not only for yourself, but he's a great passer and he can pitch it out to players spotting up for the open shots. And making a free throw as well. The Grizzlies have not been shooting well from the free throw line, only 14 of 22. Make that
15. 10-point lead, 40 seconds left, third quarter. Michael Williams swings it back. Three-point attempt is off. Benjamin to Harvey. Stolen by the T-Wolves. Rooks to the hoop. Sloppy play, Leo.
It definitely is. Right now, again, you don't have to run. Get the ball. The main thing is get possession of the ball, bring it up court, and execute. When you're throwing the ball away time after time, you don't look to create things in transition.
12 in the quarter. Foul on the T-Wolves. Sean Rooks draws the foul. And here's a look at the other end. Antonio Harvey double teamed.
Well, Antonio Harvey put in an awkward situation. He was surrounded by Timberwolves, didn't have a chance to even bring the ball down, and Sean Rooks, the recipient. And Benoit Benjamin definitely looks tired out there. He didn't even challenge Sean Rooks, didn't move his feet. And Sean Rooks had an easy path to the basket.
7 seconds left. 5 now on the clock. Looking for the last shot. Williams. Yes!
Oh, my goodness.
76-62 Timberwolves after 3 quarters, and viewers in Eastern Canada should be reminded to stay tuned for the national news immediately following the game. Viewers in the West will see the national at its regular time. We'll be back with more 4th quarter action to come. Minnesota Timberwolves howling tonight in Vancouver. Buzzer beater. Michael Williams got it. This week celebrated the NBA's 6th annual Stay in School program. Using all 29 NBA teams and their biggest stars, the message was clear to kids. Success in school is directly related to success in life. The NBA also this week introduced their own internet site on the World Wide Web. NBA.com will give fans access to news, notes, facts, and features, with each NBA team having its own homepage. On Saturday, the Raptors, fresh off their home win Friday, suffered their first franchise loss at the hands of the Indiana Pacers, 97-89. Reggie Miller led the Pacers with 23 points. And the Zoe Show started in Miami as Alonzo Mourning scored 15 points with his new team, the Miami Heat, 85-71 over the Cleveland Cavaliers.
This has been brought to you by...
Benoit Benjamin was the star in Portland with 29 points in the season opener. Tonight he's on the bench and struggling with his Grizzlies. Here's head coach Brian Winters on 0-0.
Well, I told all the players that I wasn't going to go on their past track record. I wanted to see what they could do here. I told them, hey, this is a new start. I'm a new coach. We're a new team, new franchise, and I wasn't going to look upon the past. And that worked for every player, and particularly Ben. You know, he's been a few places and probably hasn't had a sterling reputation, a lot of them. But he's come here, he's been in great shape, he's been terrific. We certainly couldn't have won the game without him the other night. And right now, you know, he's an experienced veteran player who is better than Big Country.
Timberwolves battling underneath, looking for the reverse. Gaddison fights off 3 blue jerseys. Sean Rooks with the foul.
And good rebound by Kenny Gaddison in traffic, going after the basketball. And we also had the chance to see Antonio Harvey with a spectacular block. Quick off his feet. One of the most explosive jumpers on the Grizzly ballpark.
14-point Minnesota lead. Scott fouled.
And Michael Williams getting a call on the foul.
Michael Williams arguing vociferously with the referee, but no technical there.
What happened was Byron Scott was coming off a screen Kenny Gaddison was setting, and Michael Williams was trying to fight through. And he's arguing that his case, that Kenny Gaddison was the one that was guilty of the foul, not him. Still talking with Byron Scott. You see Byron Scott just gave him a little smile. A lot of talking goes on in the court, Ron. A little chit chat among the fellas. Of course, I know when you play, you don't get involved in any of that.
No, I don't.
You just go out, play the game, take your shots.
Most people tell me to get off the court. Marquise Bragg. Michael Williams to Davis. Kevin Garnett, the rookie. Bragg steps on the line, and it will go the other way.
We saw Kevin Garnett trying to throw a look-away pass, jumped in the air to make the pass to Bragg. Bragg not ready for it. Look-away passes are only good if your teammates know that ball is coming.
Grizzlies trying to bite into a 13-point lead. Derek Martin, baseline.
Oh, my, that was a tough in-your-face jumper by Derek Martin. He's been impressive so far.
Air ball, Martin's got it. Up court to Scott, who couldn't grab it.
Tough break. Derek Martin looking ahead to Byron Scott, overthrew it. Here we get another look at that shot right in Michael Williams' face. That was a big-time jumper by Derek Martin. He's definitely given the Grizzlies a spark off the bench.
8 points for Martin. 76-65. Just over 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. At GM Place, Sean Rooks hooks.
And an offensive foul on Rooks. Getting called for the hook using his elbow.
His fourth personal foul.
Sean Rooks not liking the call, voicing his opinion, and Bill Blair immediately told Sean, hey, stay calm, get back in the game, let it go.
Martin watched by Williams.
And coming right back at the other end, Byron Scott getting called for an illegal screen.
Rooks out to West in the paint. Block there. Here comes Blue Edwards off the bench. Harvey's got it. Harvey to the hoop. Look out.
And the crowd's on their feet with that one. An incredible dunk by Antonio Harvey.
That'll get you out of hibernation quickly.
Wow.
76-67. Antonio Harvey soaring. We might see that one on Inside Stuff.
Oh, my goodness.
9:24 left, fourth quarter.
The NBA on CTV, sponsored by Canadian Tire, where there's a lot more to Canadian Tire for a lot less. Molson's Special Drive and Pontiac, built for drivers.
Well, Tom Arnold was a coach. He'd have a technical by now. You really get into this, body language and everything.
Well, yeah, especially this year. I think they're going to, hopefully they're going to make their move now. But it's an exciting game. I mean, always NBA is so exciting. It's hard not to get into it.
And you're a pretty loyal guy.
Yeah, exactly. I get a little nervous and hyper, but I enjoy the games.
Did you watch Big Country at the Final Four?
Yes, I did. I went down to Seattle and watched it. That's why I got the hat on there. But I had a good time.
Enjoy. Tom Arnold, thank you.
Thank you.
Grizzlies with the rebound, but Kevin Garnett. Ball bouncing all over the place. Grizzlies, hold on. Here's Derek Martin. The crowd is in this game now.
Derek Martin with the hesitation, taking it to the bucket. And I'll tell you what, Antonio Harvey is creating all this with the dunk, with the defensive rebound starting to break. He's getting the crowd back into this with his energized play.
76-69. 8.5 minutes left. Grizzlies need a run. Leitner. West gets a fresh 24. Leitner on Gaddison. Double team there. Here's the Grizzlies again. Scott.
And they're going to call that a two-shot foul. Terry Porter picking up the ball. Byron Scott breaking down, and that's a 7-0 run for the Vancouver Grizzlies.
It's loud in here now, Leo.
Oh, and this is why it's loud in here, Rod. Antonio Harvey hustling, going after the basketball, and at the other end, hesitation, and Derek Martin blows by Christian Laettner. The Minnesota Timberwolves 0 for 7 in field goals in this quarter. We made mention of the big run the Grizzlies had at Portland, and they're in the midst of one right now.
They've been hurting themselves at the line tonight. They'll need to make these free throws down the stretch. John Nikichi coming.
All right, I tell you what, there's two ways the Grizzlies can get back in this game. This is one of them on the line when the clock stopped, because when they were double digits and trying to shoot them outside, they were getting killed on the boards. If they ever get to set up their half-court offense, watch for Byron Scott to go on the baseline on the offside and either to hit the three or penetrate, because penetration's the way Derek's been doing it. It's the way they're going to go to the line, not from outside.
5-point lead. 8 on the shot clock. Grizzlies again. Martin. Blue Edwards. Spinning.
Vancouver ball. Grizzlies get the ball back, and the crowd is really into it. They're appreciating the effort. Brian Winters right now calling out some plays, getting a set for his team to execute off the inbounds play.
15 on the shot clock. Martin to Scott. The isolation here. The shot. It goes! Byron Scott. 14 points and the foul.
Byron Scott faking the baseline and the running, high arcing one-hander. And I'll tell you what, he's got this whole gym on their feet. Derek Martin showing a little emotion.
3-point lead now. Byron Scott a chance to whittle this lead to 2. The Grizzlies on an 11-0 run. The T-Wolves have not scored in the fourth quarter.
Antonio Harvey, once again, he couldn't get the ball, but he went after it and kept it alive, and giving the Grizzlies another shot as Bill Bear, the coach of the Grizzlies, looks on. Not too pleased with what he's seeing, I'm sure.
Tom Gugliotta knocking it out of bounds. Timberwolves with some pressure. Scott off to Harvey. Grizzlies again.
Good job, Harvey, this time getting the ball back out. Setting up.
Martin. It is a one-point ball game. The home opener of the Grizzlies. And the decibel level is deafening. Foul on Vancouver. Blue Edwards drawing the foul.
Blue Edwards getting called with the foul down low on the body as we get a look at Derek Martin quickly pulling up in the face of Terry Porter.
12 points for Martin. Sam Mitchell on the line. He has 11 points for the T-Wolves.
T-Wolves just can't buy a bucket.
Whoever said that Vancouver fans were passive have never been in here on a night like this.
I'll tell you what, the acoustics in here are tremendous. It is rocking at GM Place.
6 minutes, 50 seconds left. 77-75 Timberwolves. Shot clock at 6. Scott running again. Doesn't drop. Porter outlet to West.
Tough move by Doug West, taking it right at the basket.
Martin now waits for Antonio Harvey and Byron Scott, who had to do up his shoe and will do it up again. 10 on the shot clock. Blue. Blocked and fouled. Fifth personal foul.
Excellent penetration by Blue Edwards, faking the shot, going strong. Doug West trying to block it, picking up his fifth. Here we see Blue Edwards dipping his shoulder and then going up right into Doug West.
And into press row as well. Cameraman at the baseline in a danger zone.
Blue Edwards has really been shooting the ball well from the perimeter, which has opened up his penetration. Because he shot the ball so well, so the defense has become much more cautious and much more concerned about him and trying to come out on him, allowing penetration.
13 points for Blue Edwards. 79-77. 6 minutes left. Fourth quarter. Porter drives, feeds out to Williams. There's Mitchell, layoff. Scott sets it up. Gaddison working on Leitner. Back out to Edwards, who drives and hits.
Excellent body control. Blue Edwards taking the ball into the middle, jumping back as he left the ground, clearing himself some space. Soft touch.
And we are all even at 79. The Grizzlies have fought their way back.
I don't know if I can take this, Ron. It's only the second game of the year, and it feels like a playoff game already.
It certainly sounds like one. Porter with a great drive, but
an offensive foul is going to be called. No, it is a blocking foul. Porter, that was a very difficult shot in traffic. Here we get a look at Blue Edwards. Watch what he does as he tops in, and then he takes a little jump backwards to clear himself some room to get his shot out. Strong performance by Blue Edwards.
Terry Porter trying to make it a 3-point Minnesota lead.
Terry Porter, a guy who's been in many pressure situations in his career with the Portland Trailblazers, calmly knocks that one in.
82-79, just over 5 minutes left. GM plays fourth quarter. Brian Winters wants a timeout. The Grizzlies have their claws out at GM Place, trailing by 3 in their home opener.
Canadian Tire has guaranteed low prices every day on MotoMaster batteries, so you can get one whenever you need one, and you won't get left out in the cold.
This may have been the igniter. Antonio Harvey with the big jam in the third quarter. Sparked a 17-6 run. 82-79. Minnesota leads. Just over 5 minutes left. Fourth quarter. They took too long to inbound the ball, Leo.
Tough call. Grizzlies have to get the ball in bounds. You can't afford to lose the ball in a play like that. Coming down crunch time.
Porter, watched by Scott. Off to Leitner, leading scorer for the T-Wolves. Double teamed. Here's Michael Williams. Mitchell, shot clock is at 7. Porter. Gugliotta there, into the hands of Kenny Gaddison.
Good job, Antonio Harvey, knocking the ball away from Gugliotta.
Gaddison goes baseline, had Leitner off his feet. Martin, shot clock at 8. Martin trying inside.
Derek Martin almost lost the ball 2 times, but still managed to regain it and hit a high arcing shot.
14 points for the newest Grizzly, the former T-Wolf. Leitner, shot clock at 10. Bumped by Gaddison. And a reminder to the viewers in Eastern Canada, stay tuned for the national news immediately following this game. And the viewers in Manitoba and West will see the national news at its regular time.
Going to get another look at Derek Martin penetrating in the baseline, almost loses it there, manages to regain it and calmly knocks it in. And I'll tell you what, Flip Saunders, the general manager of the T-Wolves, was talking how much he hated to lose Derek Martin. And I bet you it hurts even more right now watching him put a hurting on his own T-Wolves.
Leitner misses. Got a good chuckle this morning from Brian Winters. When asked what Derek Martin brings to his team, he said, well, he knows the Timberwolves playbook.
Absolutely.
2 points. T-Wolf lead. Grizzlies with a smaller lineup. Benoit Benjamin sitting, so is Brian Reeves, no center. Scott in the corner. Tried to bounce it in, forced it. It didn't go. Mitchell off to Porter. 3.5 minutes left. Williams stolen by Scott all alone. Oh my. For Byron Scott. 83-83.
Excellent defensive pressure by the Grizzlies. They're really going after the ball, trying to get it at every opportunity.
Mitchell trying to bring the momentum the other way. Foul on Chris King.
Sam Mitchell reacting to the defense, taking the ball strong to the basket. And that's what you have to do down the fourth quarter. You want to take the ball to the basket, as we see Blue Edwards getting a hand on the ball, creating it. How about that block? Blue Edwards taking the defense out. He completely took Sam Mitchell out of the play and allowed Byron Scott to get the slam dunk.
The Grizzlies had their problems at the line. It seems to have gone the other way now, Leo.
It's a game of runs, Rod. A lot of things happen out here. Vancouver was struggling earlier. Now Minnesota struggling.
A 21-7 run in the fourth quarter for the Grizzlies.
And a lot of it's done on the defensive end. They created a lot of opportunities, and another big miss by Sam Mitchell.
And a chance for the first time in a long time since the second quarter for the Grizzlies to take the lead. Here's Blue Edwards.
It almost looked like Blue Edwards was expecting contact on that shot. He jumped in the air and turned, but nobody went up with him, and he just lost the ball.
2:45, Anthony pressuring Porter. King watching Gugliotta. Shot clock at 8. Bounce pass back out to Porter. Drives baseline. Off. Stolen by the T-Wolves for a fresh 24. Here's Leitner.
You have to stay in and get the rebound. Blue Edwards was breaking. Greg Anthony was breaking down the court before they got the ball. You have to get the ball in crunch time.
Porter. West. And again, the Timberwolves on the boards. Under 2 minutes left. 83-83.
When you have a smaller lineup in the game, it's very important that everybody stays in and doesn't escape early when the shot goes up.
Chris King on the switch now. Watching Terry Porter. The shot. Scott has it. Inbounds now to Greg Anthony. And again, the Grizzlies with the chance to take the lead. Timeout, Vancouver. They are loud in GM Place. Can the Grizzlies hold on? Can they win their home opener and go 2-0? We'll find out when we come back to Vancouver.
All right, on offense, you're going to watch the ball get into Byron Scott's hands. Watch for Kenny Gaddis in the post-up hard down low. And Scott's either going to drive it or hit from outside on defense. When the ball goes in Christian Leitner's hands, as soon as the ball hits the floor on the dribble, watch for Greg Anthony to go and double team on him.
All right, thanks, John McKeechee. Linda Carter, Wonder Woman, watching, and wonderful comeback by the Vancouver Grizzlies with 1:33 left. Steal by Leitner, but the Grizzlies got it back. Edwards bounces to King. Back out to Greg Anthony. The shot. The Vancouver Grizzlies have the lead. Minnesota taking a timeout. What a turnaround, Leo Rautins.
Oh, the Grizzlies doing it, and they're doing it at the defensive end of the court, and offense, they're making some big, big shots. Here, Greg Anthony, no hesitation whatsoever, knocks in the top of the key jumper, and he's pumped. This entire Grizzly team is pumped.
They have pumped up the volume for sure. 85-83 Vancouver when we come back. Vancouver Grizzlies, 85-83. 1:17 left. Pressure from the Grizzlies. Leitner off to Porter. Eight on the shot clock. Double team on Leitner. Mitchell, open shot, drives. No foul called.
Oh,
got the basket.
Big time move. Sam Mitchell taking it right down the middle.
The last time it may have been this loud in Vancouver was at last year's Grey Cup when the BC Lions won. Can the Vancouver Grizzlies go 2-0? 40 seconds left. Scott! The Timberwolves have called another timeout. The Grizzlies have another 2-point lead. 18 for Byron Scott.
Byron Scott, he's feeling it right now. He's in a groove. He came off that screen and took a step back. He knew the defense was going to come up high. He took a step back and had a baseline jumper. Here we get a look at Sam Mitchell at the other end, driving in and making a very difficult shot. And now we'll get another look at Byron Scott. See the way he had the ball. He leaned to the baseline side, created an opportunity, and no problem whatsoever knocking in that shot.
The Grizzlies were 0-7 in the preseason until they met Seattle a week ago. Well, Byron Scott sparked the team then. The Grizzlies, to a man, say that win in the preseason helped propel them to Friday night's win. And maybe that win also propelled them to tonight, if they can get it.
Exactly. Man for man, everybody on the team said that when they had that game against Seattle, it really brought them together. They had seen their effort was adding up and working, and the chemistry was building, but they still didn't get a victory. The Seattle victory brought it all together, and then, of course, winning in Portland on the road. And it's interesting when Byron Scott made the comment that he thinks this team may be able to make a playoff run. One of the things he said is, hey, I know these guys. I've been around the league long enough. I know what we can do.
Hey, Tom Arnold's having fun, too. John McKeechee, what's going on down there?
I'm in the Vancouver Grizzlies huddle. Brian Winters is explaining how they want the double team to work because they expect Christian Leitner to be down low. So it's going to be the off guard or the off power forward that's going to come down across the top of the key like Byron Scott did last time. And of course, the other double is when they expected to be in the hands of Terry Porter. But they're banking on the fact that the go-to guy will be Christian Leitner. And I tell you one thing, you should see the fire in these guys' eyes when you get a starting center like Benoit Benjamin being the biggest cheerleader. You know these guys want this game badly.
87-85, Vancouver. The Grizzlies looking to go 2-0 in the regular season. 40 seconds left. Leitner pops out, watched by Gaddison. Gugliotta. Gaddison fought Leitner. Here's Porter. Lou Edwards came down with the ball. We have a foul going the other way.
Minnesota had two good looks at the basket, but weren't able to knock it in, and Blue Edwards not giving him a second opportunity at the rebound, grabbing that ball and hanging on to it, picking up the foul.
Key free throws right here.
In the second half, Vancouver has been making their free throws.
2-point Grizzly lead. To put it into perspective, what a 2-0 expansion team record would mean. The last team to go 3-0 as an expansion team was Chicago back in 1966.
We saw Blue Edwards early in the game. He was pulling his free throw. He wasn't following through. That time, we saw it again, pulling the shot. He has to stay with the shot and not get off the line and follow through.
22.4 seconds left. Off again, but he's got it back. And fouled again. So Blue Edwards will get another shot at the line.
Alert play by Blue Edwards following his own miss. He pulled it and hit the back of the rim, came out long, and he was right there, and now he gets 2 more.
What a night in Vancouver. The first NBA game at home for the Grizzlies. Actually, the second ever NBA game held here. One held back in 1968. Edwards misses again.
Reminds you a little bit about Nick Anderson at the free throw line. Orlando playing Houston in the NBA Finals last season. Missed 4 in a row, but no! Blue Edwards makes the 4th one.
So it's a 3-point Vancouver lead with 20.2 seconds left. Timeout on the floor again. I mentioned that NBA game back in 1968. That was a regular season game between Boston and Seattle. This, however, is the 90s, and these fans here are eating it up tonight. The Grizzlies by 3. Opening night at GM Place. A reminder that our next telecast on CTV, can't wait for that one. The Toronto Raptors, who are 1-1 after losing to Indiana yesterday against the Vancouver Grizzlies December 10th. John McKeechee, what's happening?
All right, look for Coach Bill Blair to have Christian Laettner inbound the ball. 4 guys at the top of the key. The guy closest to the hole will be Terry Porter. He'll come out at the top. They're going to try and free him up for the shot.
John McKeechee, I'll tell you what, some NBA teams going to be looking to put him on their scouting team, doing a great job getting the scoop from on the sideline. Ron, interesting statistic. Field goals this quarter, Vancouver shooting a blistering 77%, while Minnesota is only 3 of 18, 17%.
20.2 seconds left. Grizzlies leading by 3. And this house is rocking. Everyone on their feet. Porter. Out to Laettner for 3. Got it!
Christian Laettner over Chris King. It almost looked like he lost the ball going up, but nothing. And I mean nothing but net.
Game high 22 for Christian Laettner. Clutch shot. 14.7 seconds left. 8's on the board. 88-88. Look at this. Christian Laettner with the 3. Final moments of the 4th quarter when we come back. Griswold, the Grizzly. A Grizzly night indeed. 88-88. Under 15 seconds left. Leo Routens, what do you do now?
Well, right now, you know your hot hand. Myron Scott has been on fire. Greg Anthony has made some big shots. You want to get the ball up court as quick as possible and try to get your man coming off a screen. Blue Edwards look to take the ball to the basket if he gets his hands on it. If you don't get the wide open shot, you want to try to take it to the hole. Get on the foul line.
On the other side, Christian Laettner, tight deep.
Oh, Christian Laettner, you know, this guy's had a tremendous ball game right here. And a monster three-point shot at the other end of the post.
Minnesota Timberwolves frothing from the mouth too, because They would not want to start the season 0-2.
And the big thing is the Minnesota Timberwolves want to go back to Minnesota for their home opener with at least one win under their belts.
Okay, here we go. 14.7 seconds. Blue Edwards inbounds. Greg Anthony freed up. 10 seconds left. They'll look for the final shot. 6. Anthony. 3. Off. Last shot, Scott. After the buzzer. We will have overtime. Another first for the Vancouver Grizzlies. On their first night at home, they go to overtime.
And Greg Anthony had a legitimate shot to win the ball game. Came off, a little contact, the defensive man fell down. He had a good look at the basket. I thought he took a little bit too much time before he released the ball, but nevertheless still had a shot of making it.
88-88. We are headed to a 5th period. Overtime at GM Place. The Timberwolves and the Grizzlies on CTV. We're going to overtime. 5 minutes. Extra frame, 88-88. The home opener for the Vancouver Grizzlies, who outscored the Timberwolves 26-12 in the 4th quarter. Quite a run. And almost had a chance right here to seal their 2nd straight win.
See, Terry Porter fell down and Greg Anthony hesitated. I don't know if he needed a better grip on the ball, if he didn't have it, but he hesitated a little bit too long and threw his rhythm off on the shot.
Let's go to John McKeechee at the Grizzly bench.
Probably the most frustrated guy in the building tonight is on injured reserve, Gerald Wilkins. Tell me about your teammates' first 48 minutes.
Well, obviously, we've come out and played a heck of a basketball game. One thing about this game is played in peaks and valleys, and we've been able to sustain everything that they've ran against us. So right now, we're back in a ball game. Now we find ourselves in an overtime game, which we can surely win if we come out and play the same way we played thus far.
Think we'll be settled at the line?
I think so.
Gerald Wilkins.
Now, Rod, there's a guy we haven't even talked about tonight, Gerald Wilkins, an outstanding NBA career. He's had some back problems after coming back from an Achilles injury last season. He's a guy that could be a big factor and give an added bonus for the Grizzly ball club.
The brother of the flashy Dominique Wilkins, who's playing overseas this year. Gerald Wilkins will inject some scoring when he is able to come back. We are in overtime in Vancouver. Gaddison.
Oh, well, we're getting one big shot after another. Kenny Gaddison fading away over Christian Laettner, and that was not an easy shot by any stretch of the imagination.
13 points for number 44, Kenny Gaddison. Gugliotta double-teamed by Scott and King. West swings it out to Porter, to Laettner. Baseline again. He's hot.
A little fake into the middle and spin right back to the baseline side. He is feeling it.
24 for Laettner. Anthony in the paint. King blocked by Gugliotta. Here comes Porter. Waits. Throws it to West, who couldn't hang on. Scott to Chris King. Fouled by Terry Porter.
Good look up court. Terry Porter picking up his 4th foul. Chris King going right at the basket, trying to draw the foul. Here we see Kenny Gaddison. He really had to bend backwards to get that shot over the outstretched arms of Christian Laettner. Watch Christian, a little look into the middle, and then spin back to the baseline, completely shaking Kenny Gaddison on the defensive end.
And the guy who may have precipitated this whole comeback, Antonio Harvey, is in the game as Kenny Gaddison takes a seat. Harvey with the huge dunk that started things rolling in the 4th quarter. Antonio Harvey also in for his defense. He's had 3 blocks in the game.
And the Grizzlies are up by 2 again. 92-90.
3.5 minutes in overtime.
West. Scott. Scott to Chris King. Fakes the shot. Here's Byron. Gugliotta behind his back. Harvey had it, gave it to Leitner, who gave it to West. Great basket by Doug West.
Doug West taking it right to the hole. Tough break for the Grizzlies. They had the ball back. Harvey had it, but just couldn't hang on to it.
All even, 2 minutes into overtime. 92-92. 2:55 left. Scott threw it into Harvey. 6 on the shot clock. Wrestling match for the ball.
Antonio Harvey has to stay calm right now. You don't want to get a technical foul. He was put in another awkward position. Byron Scott did not give him a very solid entry pass. Threw it to the wrong side.
Interesting stat. Grizzlies guards have 25 rebounds.
Well, Rod, one thing they have played the smaller lineup throughout a good part of the fourth quarter here. So Vancouver, what they had to do was keep all the players inside and get the long rebounds, and that's what the guards are going to have to do.
T-Wolves trying to retake the lead. Leitner for Sam Mitchell. A bullet that didn't go.
Chris King doing a solid job boxing out, gathering that ball.
Lou Edwards. Anthony for three.
Anthony showing a lot of cool. You see the way he just took his time. He knew that was going in. No doubt in his mind whatsoever.
Just over 2 minutes. Terry Porter freed up, had the lane and took it.
Good recognition by Porter. He turned the corner, saw the defense, didn't see him. The weak side reacted a little late. Antonio Harvey tried to get there, but he was a step off.
95-94 Vancouver. Under 2 minutes in overtime left. 9 on the shot. The Skywalker does it again.
That was a big-time reaction by Antonio Harvey. He set the screen, and as soon as his man reacted to help, he split to the basket. Excellent reaction. And Greg Anthony found him for the bucket.
97-94. 8 on the shot clock. A minute and a half left. Throw it up. Harvey. Porter wants a foul. He's not getting it. Anthony throws it away.
Greg Anthony realized that he had Chris King way ahead, but he realized it too late, and then he tried to make up for it. Top play for the Grizzlies.
Greg Anthony only 2 assists and 1 rebound away from a triple-double tonight. Timeout, Minnesota. Grizzlies by 3 in overtime.
Yo, you think you got...
There's a roar on the floor in Vancouver. The Grizzlies leading 97-94, 124 left in overtime. National news with Sandy Ronaldo coming up for the viewers in Eastern Canada. And Antonio Harvey is making news tonight, too.
He's having a solid ball game. Here we see Greg Anthony calmly stroking the three-pointer, and watch Antonio Harvey's reaction. Christian Leitner leans towards the man cutting, and he splits to the basket for the slam dunk. Great read by Antonio Harvey.
The Grizzlies inciting their fans for some noise. T-Wolves call for a timeout. Too much pressure from the Vancouver defense. For the Minnesota Timberwolves. Next game on CTV. The all-Canadian matchup. 2 expansion teams who are making some waves in the early season in the NBA. There's Leitner, who tied it up in the final seconds of regulation time. Leitner, the go-to guy, gets it.
Wow, Christian Leitner going right over the defense with a right-hand hook. He wants the ball. He is taking this game in his own hands for the T-Wolves.
1 point, Vancouver lead. A minute left now in overtime. 8 on the shot clock. Down to 6. Anthony forced it, but drew the foul. Terry Porter. Fifth personal.
Terry Porter not liking the call. He's claiming that he just had his hands up in the air. First, we'll get a look at Christian Laettner taking it right at Antonio Harvey. Blue Edwards did a decent job of coming over, but Laettner shooting the ball right over both players. Now, Laettner's been a big-time player throughout his career. He likes to take the big shots down the stretch, and he's really doing a good job of taking over. And Antonio Harvey, I should say Greg Anthony at the other end of the court, did a nice job of drawing the foul against Terry Porter by hesitating, and now he's looking for his second make on the free throw.
Timeout, Minnesota. Grizzlies now by 2. 52.2 left in overtime.
Across Canada. All this and more all this month on CTV.
5 minutes to 9 o'clock on the West Coast, getting close to midnight out east. What an exciting ball game. 98-96, Christian Laettner, the leading scorer with 26 points. Chances are they'll try to get the ball to Laettner in this situation. 52.2 seconds left in overtime. Gugliotta.
Antonio Harvey is really working to try to deny Laettner the ball. Almost a great defensive effort right there. A double team on the ball. Antonio Harvey and Greg Anthony tried to double team the pass and almost came away with the ball.
Timberwolves with 1 timeout left. 38 seconds. Laettner hangs on, and he is followed by Antonio Harvey.
Antonio Harvey, who's working extremely hard to try not allow Laettner getting the ball. He was just a step off that time, a step slow. Laettner managed to get in front of him, and Antonio Harvey, out of frustration, reached in and fouled.
37.2 seconds. Swarming D by the Grizzlies. Gugliotta hands off to Porter. 30 seconds left. Mitchell at the top. West. Gugliotta up and down. Didn't call it. Porter for 3.
Big play. Great defense. The Grizzlies are making the T-Wolves pass the ball, move it around. And now they're arguing. They're saying that was a 3-point shot, but they were only given 2 on the play.
Everybody's out in the court. The referee signaled a 3-point shot. The scoreboard reads 99. Bill Blair wants it on the baseline. Brian Winters wants it on the side. Who's right, Leo?
Ball's out in the baseline, Rod.
Pressure from the T-Wolves. 18 seconds. The Grizzlies will play for the win. 11 seconds. Anthony watched by Porter. 6 seconds. 4. Byron Scott. 2 seconds. Yes!
Chris King!
Chris King has won it for the Grizzlies.
Incredible play. Chris King coming out of nowhere for the winning tip-in.
Are 2-0 to start the regular season. Final seconds in overtime. Byron Scott with 2 seconds threw it up. Didn't go. And underneath, Chris King is the king tonight. An expansion team that goes 2-0. A city suddenly in love. 100-98 Vancouver. What a start, Leo Routers.
A tremendous introduction to basketball in Canada and in Vancouver, Rod.
The Grizzlies win their home opener Good night, everybody, from Vancouver.